Welcome to your magical moon message. This is the peace dealer. The moon is in Libra. The sun is in Scorpio. At the tail end of this transit, we are going to have moving into moon in Scorpio, a very super intense and magically influenced balsamic phase. We ironically will actually, it looks like, enact this balsamic phase at the end of Libra. It does look like the moon will be, that's very interesting, 29 degrees Libra while the sun is 29 degrees Scorpio. But regardless, this is getting ready to produce considerably the final effects of you as a character, the perception around how people look at you, for better or for worse, and the transformation that comes as a result. So, in this balsamic type esque phase, a lot of what you are going to be feeling has a lot to do with this sense of realistically how powerfully you also really accept elements of your character that may not be popular with other people, not even majority of other people, because what's not popular other people will be popular or accepted by another group that's not those other people. So what's very key here is the psychoanalytical understanding and receptivity to the influence of a narrative and force of archetype that no longer has a leg to stand against the level of your authenticity. Whereas when the moon was in Aries, there were elements of your character that through the consistency of with the sixth house to the Scorpio sun in Aries, integrating this authenticity into your lifestyle, you were taking individual actions to, without having to say or argue with anyone, basically make very clear how authentic your life is lived. Okay, that way, if there were any inauthentic aspects of your identity or lifestyle, this will have come up in imbalance before the full moon, but you have long since broken through. And so the balsamic release phase of this is a pure hatred in the psychology of a sore loser who knows that they can't rely on any fallacious rhetoric or false narratives to steer other people's opinions against you, because your own actions have shown that despite what people believe, you are every bit as authentic and amazing and pure as you have pretty much expressed yourself to be. Now, for many of you, this level of dynamics you don't operate in because you're not a weak little bitch. You're not stupid. You're not an idiot. You're not a loser. So it could be very difficult for you to really understand the actions of the deeply insecure. A transit like this is going to remind you that no matter how much appearances people put up, the hundreds and thousands of dollars that people feel like they need to put in their appearance or a certain aspect of their image to make up for very deep-seated elements of their insecurity are super easy to mask. Women do this all the time when they go to the store and they get makeup to cake their face. Men do this all the time when they overcompensate for their lack of control and masculinity by escaping into sports, cars, and all sorts of other bullshit that men and women do. And you're breaking out of a lot of these idiomatic, socially, culturally defined things that were never cool. It was just a whole bunch of people, a small group of people who felt it was cool and utilized media in order to basically spread that bullshit to the masses. And the majority of people never really believe. There's always that silent majority that you are part of, all right, well, even if you're using your voice, that personally represents the real, the truth, okay, the natural alignment to what's actually happening, all right? So this is going to really take stock of you understanding relative to how much you have transformed this power balance and dynamic, how every single one of your relationships, Moon and Libra, understanding the balance of your relationships, is transcending and forever ending certain power dynamics with other people. This is going to be the nail in the coffin for dark energies and intent and impure intent within losers and bitch asses who will finally have to accept, coming into this blast off of Sagittarius, there's nothing that can be done to stop you. There's nothing that could be done to perturb you or hold you back. The outside influences of these energies are represented by the squares and oppositions. Chiron opposition to Libra moon is the eccentricity of healing vulnerability, or healing the vulnerability of your eccentricity, or the healing the eccentricity that you may be vulnerable expressing. And then Uranus's opposition to the sun has already passed, but that sextile to Pluto is going to make hyper real how you're developing intangible natures of your own psychology and psyche. Okay. The supernatural dynamic here is, this is definitively you not only clearing the field to get ready for the new moon to plant new seeds, but you are actively coming into real-time insight relative to the psychology of who you're dealing with energetically, physically, groups of people, because Libra and Scorpio are social vibrations. So you're not dealing with individuals, you're picking up vibes from how groups of people think relative to their individual idiosyncrasies between each individual in that social more. They still all represent some facet of group thought or narrative piece of mind, most of which is bullshit, which admits most cultures have idiomatic thinkings and sayings that from Americans to the South and North Americans to Asians to Europeans to Africans that aren't even true at all. These are sayings that have been passed down in tradition that are very wise, that sound really real, but they're not true. Like, the fact that they're not true is almost mind-blowing, because these things are said over and over. You would think maybe it was true back then. It wasn't true back then either. So like, there's so much myths that you're coming out of that you're seeing in the sense of how, yeah, it was said, but it doesn't have any place in reality. Not even like, oh, we're in a modern age. It's just, nope. You know what's real and true though? You are. Okay. So, your society's attempt to put you in a box and try and fit you in this dumbass understanding and more that has nothing to do with you, because your existence is unique unto itself. You share certain similarities with other people, but you get to show other people how you're unique and they're unique as well. And they show you how they're unique. So embrace that. Embrace the duality that's present. But you also have to embrace the definitive leveling up that you've come through and have completed. As once the moon goes into Scorpio, this is going to be one of the darkest balsamic phases that we have with the light of Sag, but it's going to very quickly and speedily accelerate a lot of your understanding of how quickly you're getting ready to blast off. Because once we step into Sagittarius season, when I tell you things are going to move so freaking fast, oh my God, you won't have the most time to really catch your bearings, because you have to take into account everything that you've honed in on who you're becoming to just move forward with that. You don't have that luxury to doubt and backtrack as it can spiral out of control. Although, that you can take that to mean whatever. This transit is going to highlight in hindsight how much you've grown, because you can have an idea until you start to realize, damn, I didn't think it was that serious. Okay, the moon that's going to be trining Mars and Saturn is going to really inspire you with so much objectively true, knowledgeable understanding that you directly contextualize with the right people, that this will uplift you out of any doubt or imposter syndrome relative to what other opposing or outside influences may say. Now, if you think of these like demon-possessed individuals, the light of your evolution is hurting them like holy water. And so you're seeing you're psychoanalyzing Scorpio sun, these uncharacteristic understandings of people's true character. Moon in Libra is just behind the Scorpio sun. You're being receptive to what's hidden. You're taking a lot less personal insults and digs towards you that don't reflect who you are, that are not authentic to you, but really reflect more the insecurity that's being projected at you. And so you're seeing more how you have less to take personal, because more often people just snitch on themselves. You as an awakened being knows that you cannot put down You can hold people accountable. You can show people where they're out of alignment, but you can't really put down somebody else because you pretty much putting down yourself. That person's that person and you're you. But you equivocally putting down somebody else to think that you're better than them is retarded because you're putting yourself down. I'm not saying that in like a kumbaya, let's all get along way. There is a huge mental illness in this society that has been brewing with the advent of technology and media, and it's a pride. It's a pride that makes these delusional idiots entitled to believe that because of the way they dress, because of the way they look, because of the style and fashion they have or the status, that they're cooler than other people, that they're more privileged than other people. But these same people die, take shits, have indigestion, and go through stuff. Like these people fake positivity when it's time to get, positive remarks, but nothing in their actions shows that they're not, any less stupid to believe this bullshit. And so you as an individual are breaking through these myths, and as you break through these myths, this threatens a lot of the bullshit that they've put up just by you being you. You're not gonna put any picket signs and protest and make noise. You just have to be you. And you're coming into more evidence of this truth like never before. Okay, so I really hope you enjoy how that develops. Because once we step into this balsamic phase proper and then Sagittarius season, you will literally see, like once the sun goes into Sagittarius, you'll see everything that you've been breaking through, the evidence and the effect of your breaking through since October with the fall equinox. Okay. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, the last thing I want to really present to you is as we step into this nuclear depth of apotheosis, the controversial facet of how this element of evolution, by the time the moon itself goes opposite Uranus in a few days, activates now the much more intense depth of your supernatural realization of potential. Okay. First of all, the moon is going to be completing the 11th house transit. So you're going to come into a lot of hopes and wishes through your understanding of social dynamics with other people. Case in point, a lot of the techniques that you really understood toward yourself is going to really induce a supernaturally extra dimensionally powerful. So that means that it's something that is supernatural. It's beyond what's normal. And then extra dimensional means that it's outside of this realm of existence that is going to really, really, really enable you to complete the techniques, abilities and understandings of new skills that you've kind of expressed. What does that look like? Certain ideas and things about yourself that Moon in Aries you wanted to practice, you're now doing with other people in a way where it's like, oh wow, like I unconsciously mastered this. If you were having conscious incompetence towards a new technique, Moon in Aries, now Moon in Libra, you're having unconscious competence. So this is really beautiful. And the synchronization process, the supernatural extra dimensional synchronization process is also completing. That's going to, with Moon and Libra, help you understand what situational context socially you can take action with in order to break through more of this level of synchronization, because it's coming into the 11th house. It's coming out of the 11th house, and then like 28, 29, it'll go into the balsamic. You are understanding the moves to make with people and also results and rewards. This is the results and awards in the form of transcending and moving forward power dynamics that won't really even look that big a deal to you, but by the time we're in Sagittarius is the hugest deal. Look forward to certain things you may have undermined yourself about, because a large majority of those who are threatened by your existence did a lot to really dull the nature of your accomplishments. Well, that effect can't really work that long because you're real and nothing real can be threatened. So you're going to really be delighted to see your accomplishments in a real practical way that's not nerfed or undermined, but celebrated by those who belong with you and belong celebrating with you, hence the 11th house transit. This is going to piss off a lot of people who have a lot against you, but this is going to be a major victory for those who really love you. So Godspeed, and until Sagittarius season.